A few weeks ago I made a video about the risk of somebody potentially stealing your identity, using your identity to then go on to steal your property. A few days ago the BBC followed up on a story from last year about a man from Luton who was working away in Wales, and in July of last year his property was actually stolen from him. He didn't become aware that this had happened until August last year, when his neighbours called him to tell him that the lights were on in his home and there was somebody in there. He promptly drove back to Luton the next day from Wales, only to discover that his key didn't fit the lock, and when the door opened he was immediately told that it was not his house and that he was trespassing. Shockingly, when he contacted the local police, he was told that this was not a crime and it was actually a civil matter, and Mr. Mike Hall still from Luton has been fighting ever since to try and recover his property, and so far he's not had much success. And due to the fact that this is not a crime and it is a civil matter, he has to fund all of the legal expense out of his own pocket. So what success he has and how far he can go depends on how much he can afford to pay. He's not even had any luck from the land registry. But more worryingly, since this story broke, many other people have come forward to announce that they have suffered the same fate. And just in the same way as Reverend Mike Hall from Luton, they were also told by the local police that this is not a criminal matter and it is indeed a civil matter. Many of them are still trying to fight for compensation from the land registry, who has actually paid out millions over the last few years, but it's a very, very difficult journey to get that compensation from the land registry, because if there is any way that they can wriggle out of it or show negligence on your part, they will do so. If you do refer back to that video, I would trust that you have taken steps to secure your property, especially if the property in question is on your name and you are not living in it, either because it was your home and you subsequently rented it, bought an additional property, moved abroad, for any other reason. If you have a property that is empty or occupied by somebody other than you, please ensure that the contact details on the deed at the land registry are not at that property, that they are somewhere else, and also follow the steps that I previously advised, including setting up alerts and also filing a restriction in order to protect yourself as much as possible, because if the worst should happen, then you are then deemed to have taken every step to protect your property. I hope that this helps, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.